violating the team's code of conduct. She was found guilty of smoking. Under Japanese law, it is illegal for anyone under the age of 20 to smoke.
I proudly accept your nomination for President of the United States. Thank you. My hand was covered with blood. We must now come together, rise above past differences.
Enough was enough! And I said, let Trumpomania!
It was theater, it was politics, and it was over the top. I guess, in 2 words, it was Donald Trump. Thursday was the final day of the Republican convention, so all eyes were on the main event, Trump's acceptance speech. His entry was a grand one, a lot of flickering lights, music blaring from the speakers, and the words Trump written at the back. It looked less like a political party convention and more like WrestleMania. Take a look.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Wow.
That's Trump for you. Whoever the showman as expected, he focused on the assassination attempt,
Felt something.
what he felt when he was shot, how he escaped from the stage, and how the Secret Service protected him. Listen to this.
In order to see the chart, I started to, like this, turn to my right and was ready to begin a little bit further turn, which I'm very lucky I didn't do, when I heard a loud whizzing sound and felt something hit me really, really hard on my right ear. I said to myself, wow, what was that? It can only be a bullet. And moved my right hand to my ear, brought it down. My hand was covered with blood, just absolutely blood all over the place. Bullets were continuing to fly as very brave Secret Service agents rushed to the stage, and they really did. They rushed to the stage. The amazing thing is that prior to the shot, if I had not moved my head at that very last instant, the assassin's bullet would have perfectly hit its mark, and I would not be here tonight. We would not be together.
We have seen the pictures 1,000 times, but hearing it from Trump is different. The question is, how has it changed him? The shooting, how has it changed Donald Trump? And he did show a different side of his. He talked about unity and healing.
Our ancestors, we must now come together, rise above past differences. Any disagreements have to be put aside and go forward, united as one people, one nation, pledging allegiance to one great, beautiful, I think it's so beautiful, American flag.
That was one part of Trump's speech, the assassination and healing. But afterwards, it was business as usual. Unverified claims, personal attacks, and radical promises. Trump for nearly 90 minutes, which is longer than normal acceptance speeches. He only referred to Joe Biden once. Just once. It tells you how complicated things are. Biden may or may not be on the Democratic ticket, so Trump avoided spending too much time attacking him. As he wrapped up, his wife Melania Trump came up on stage. It was a rare appearance by her. She has largely kept away from the campaign trail. She did not attend the convention either, which is strange because normally the candidate's spouse plays an important role in events like these. They may speak at the convention or they may introduce the candidate on stage. Melania Trump spoke at the 2016 and 2020 conventions, but this time she did not. She just made a last-minute cameo. That picture tells a lot. The Trump clan together on stage at the convention. America has had many political dynasties, and the Trumps are right up there. They have complete control of the Republican Party now. Trump's sons had important speaking slots. His daughters-in-law gave speeches. Even his granddaughter, who cannot even vote, had a slot. It tells you about Trump's domination. Beyond the speech, we had a few interesting moments. The first featured Hulk Hogan. And no, it is not a mistake. I am talking about the wrestler. Apparently, he's a big Trump supporter.
But what happened last week when they took a shot at my hero and they tried to kill the next president of the United States? Enough was enough. And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
The second moment was more poignant. A fireman's uniform was placed on stage beside Trump. It belonged to Corey Comperator. Now, Corey was at Trump's rally last week. He died shielding his family from Trump's shooter. So the Republican convention is over. And what did we learn from it? Broadly, three things. Number one, the Republican Party is now Trump's fiefdom. If you oppose him, there is no place for you. Just look at the people who did not attend. Former President George Bush, former vice presidents Dick Cheney and Dan Quayle, Trump's former whip, Mike Pence, and former Republican nominee Mitt Romney. These are stalwarts of the Republican Party. Former presidents and vice presidents. Yet in Trump's reign, they chose to skip. Point number two, Trump's strategy is hybrid. He will use the assassination to sway undecided voters, but he won't dial down on the rhetoric. Thursday's speech made that quite clear. No climb down on gun rights, no let up on border control, and no end to unverified claims. That remains the typical Trump stump. Which brings us to the final point to note here. The criminal trials and convictions are in the back mirror. They had dealt a blow to Trump's popularity, but the last few days have changed that. First, the assassination bid, and then the convention high. There are no more questions on Trump's viability as a candidate. He has ended the week on a major high. But those questions and doubts are now on the other candidate, sitting President Joe Biden. It's a stark contrast, Trump and Biden. One is ending the convention on a high. The other has a sinking campaign. Joe Biden is out of action because of the Wuhan virus. He's infected, and his party wants him out of the race. A growing number of senior Democrats want him to stand down. To join the chorus is Barack Obama, the former president and a trusted cousin to Joe Biden. Reports say Obama spoke to his aides privately. He thinks that Biden's path to the presidency has diminished and that he must reconsider his bid, which is quite significant because of where it's coming from. Joe Biden served as Obama's vice president for 2 consecutive terms. That's 8 years. They worked closely for 8 years. So for Biden, the former president's word carries weight. 2 days ago, Biden tested positive for the Wuhan virus. He's self-isolating in Delaware now. Next week, he's supposed to meet Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, who will be visiting Washington, D.C. The White House expects Biden to keep that appointment.
We have every expectation that the two leaders will have a chance to see each other while Prime Minister Netanyahu is in town.
But will he resume his campaign? In recent days, the pressure on Biden has intensified. So far, he has not changed his mind. But of late, he sounds less rigid and more willing to hear the other side. The arguments in favor of stepping aside, he's more open to them. And people close to Biden say that he could be preparing to leave the race. According to them, and I'm quoting, the reality is setting in. The reality is setting in. What has brought this turnaround? Observers point to three events. First, the protest by senior Democrats, the likes of Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. They've lost faith in Joe Biden and his chances. They believe he won't be able to beat Trump and that Democrats could lose seats in the US Congress as a result. The second setback are the polls. Survey after survey shows that Biden is sliding. Donald Trump is gaining ground. Another one came out today. It shows Trump has widened the gap. He now has the largest lead in the election with 52% of all votes. Joe Biden is at 47%. That's what a new survey says. So if elections were to be held today, Trump would win by popular vote. For Biden, it would be a humiliating loss. The third setback for Biden came from the donors. They are pulling support. This month, Biden's campaign had hoped to raise $50 million from just the wealthy donors, $50 million. But after his poor debate performance, they're looking at less than 25 million. So not even 50% of the target. And where is this money going? Well, some donors have turned to Kamala Harris, the current vice president. She's one of the favorites to replace Joe Biden. Harris is currently on the campaign trail filling in for Biden. And for the moment, she's supporting Biden for the presidency.
So, friends, I say the contrast between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is like night and day. But with the selection of his running mate this week, Donald Trump is also trying to distract people.